So, this is my first transfer, and we were in Combinat, which is just like a city outside of Tirana, and we had a lesson with an investigator that we've been trying to meet with her, but it canceled. She canceled on us, and so we decided that we would go street contact, right where the buses come in to take you back to Tirana. And we were street contacting, and it was going well. And then the bus came up, and we were gonna get on it. And me and my companion both looked at each other like, let's stay a little longer. And so as soon as that bus leaves, we see this couple walking, and the dad actually had on a jazz shirt, a Utah Jazz shirt. And I'm a very sporty girl, and so I started cheering because I didn't know what to do. Like, I couldn't speak a ton of Albanian. So I was just like, yeah, jazz! And they stopped and looked at me and gave me the weirdest looks I had ever gotten on my mission. And then my amazing trainer, she was like, we're from that place. That's why she's so excited. I was like, good cover. But then we got talking to them. And it turns out that they were both members. And something had happened so backtrack, a long time ago. There used to be a branch out in Combinat of our church. But then someone decided to join the Jehovah's Witnesses, and they took pretty much that whole branch with them. And the sister was one of those people that went to the Jehovah's Witnesses, from what I understood. But she wanted her kids, her cute kiddos, they were 15 and 11 at the time, and she wanted them to get baptized. So we're like, okay, weird, like seems like a perfect situation. So we set up an appointment with them for the next day. And a lot of times on our mission, we would get appointments with people, and then they wouldn't happen, of course. And so I went in the next day not really expecting them to show up. It was too good to be true type of thing, but they came, and it was just the mom and the son this time. And we were talking, trying to catch like a background of what we both wanted. And she really wanted to come back to church, and she wanted her kids to be baptized. So that Sunday they came to church. The amazing young women's president got the daughter to go to girls' camp with them that week. And the son, he went to primary with all the others, and it was just going super well. And this family, they're called the Upasis. They are incredible, and they mean the world to me, and it was so cool to see their transformation. So this was my first transfer, and it was cool to see the 15-year-old girl change. And it was like she already knew everything, but it was like the fog was being taken off, and she was seeing it crystal clear. And we'd go to teach them, but we'd walk away learning from the daughter of her perspective on things. And the son, he is something else. I love him to death. But it was cool to see how he changed, how they would read scriptures together. It took a while to get him to pray, and I would tell him that his wife would get cuter every time he prayed, but he still wouldn't do it. And so then after 3 months, I got transferred up to Kosovo. And during this first transfer, the husband was very closed. He wasn't, I think he was in like one lesson, my first transfer meeting with them. And then I got transferred up to Kosovo, and the kiddos got baptized 2 weeks after I left. And then I come back to the same area, and the dad had totally changed. He was coming to church wearing a white shirt and a tie. And pretty soon I saw him leaving the bishop's office with a preparing to go to temple pamphlet. But that was one of my favorite things, was to see that whole entire family change. The mom coming back to church, and she became, I think, a Relief Society teacher. And the dad became worthy of his Melchizedek priesthood again, and the kiddos were were active. They had their own testimonies. And that was a family I was able to go to the Switzerland temple with towards the end of my mission, see them be sealed. And it was the most incredible experience of my life because my trainer was able to come with me. So it was the people that first found him and them and their ward all in the temple. And I've heard of people weeping out of joy, but I didn't think it really happened. But I literally wept for joy for them because it was just so incredible. And I feel like that came full circle because we want, as missionaries, we want to help people get baptized, but what we really want them to end up is in the temple, being sealed as a family and receiving their own endowments. And that was amazing to see that happen on a mission, and especially towards the end of my mission, it just sort of put the bow on top of my mission. It was incredible. Another story was in Kosovo. Me and my companion whitewashed the area, and whitewash means, both the sisters before us got transferred out. So we were new sisters in a new area, didn't know anything, but thankfully one of the zone leaders had been there, and so he was able to help us out. But we met this mom of 2 kids, and she had been baptized like the week before. And she had a super rough past. But we started teaching them. She had a little boy who's 3 years old, and he was like the punkiest little boy I had ever met. He was such a handful, and he had such like a sailor mouth. Like he swore all the time. But I loved him. I just loved him. And he made lessons very difficult. Whenever Mom tried to pray, he would run over and pull her hair and make it so she couldn't pray. But me and my companion decided that so many people were trying to lecture or teach this little boy how to be a little boy. They weren't being the nicest to him, so we were like, even how hard he's going to be, we're just going to love him to death. And we had district meeting the next day, and we told the elders our plan, and we're like, don't sass him, just love him, be nice to him. And so time went on, and there wasn't much progress at all. But then towards the end of my first 3 months in Kosovo, the little boy started to change. He wouldn't pull his mom's hair anymore. He would let her pray, but he wouldn't participate in the prayer at all. But at least the mom was able to pray. And then my last 3 months in Kosovo, we spent a lot of time over at their house playing with the little boy and doing lessons with the mom. And it's interesting because we taught a lot of lessons to the mom my first 3 months there of charity and of loving, because we knew we couldn't tell her how to be a mom because we're obviously not moms. But we knew if we focus on Christ-like attributes, it would flow into her relationship with her son and her daughter. And she started being a lot nicer to her son. She started hugging him and kissing him. And I remember the first time I heard the little boy laugh, because all the time he was crying or screaming or swearing. But I remember the first time he laughed, and it was the sweetest noise I had ever heard. And so we just were like, okay, this is working. So we kept going. So I got a new companion, and I remember first day I brought my new companion over to meet, and the little boy attacked me and I couldn't sit up because he had grabbed my hair, and he was being the little boy he is, but he wasn't doing it in a mean way this time. But I was like, hey, meet the new family. Like, I can't help in this lesson. Good luck. Because I couldn't, because the little boy was just attacking me. But that family made drastic differences my last 3 months there. And I think it was really because they tried saying family prayer together. And she would read him the scriptures, and the little boy started to love the scriptures. I would come with a little pamphlet, like Gospel of Jesus Christ pamphlet, and has photos of Christ in it. And I'd be like, hey, who's this? And he'd answer, and he's like, that's Jesus Christ. And it got to a point where he would start saying prayers. first couple prayers, he'd like yell the prayer because he's like, I don't know if I want to, but he would. And I recorded one of his prayers because it was the cutest thing. And it was just incredible to see that transformation in a 3-year-old. How the gospel can even calm a distressed 3-year-old because he didn't have a dad. His dad was in jail. His mom, they had a really rough life. But he's still a little naughty 3-year-old sometimes. But he would be reverent during sacrament. They would play sacrament at his house where he pretended to be the branch president and to give talks. And it was a completely different change because before, he hated church. Everyone in sacrament would try to get him out of sacrament because he was so loud and disruptive. But he turned out to be an amazing little 3-year-old. And I think it's really because we, as missionaries, and we got some of the ward members in, we just tried to love this little kid because he didn't have much love because of his rough past and how rambunctious he was as a 3-year-old. We just loved him, and we just focused on the simple principles of the gospel, and I think that is why he changed. And I really think that if the family keeps it up, I can see him as a missionary one day in the long future, and I can see him as a bishop because he has that light in his eyes. And I think all of us have that light in our eyes, but we just have to respect it, and we have to treat it and help it as it is needed.